So here is the agenda that's linked in the chat, and in the notes there is the link to today's tutorial. Let's assume that I have a directory, a folder on my laptop or server, where I have a series of images, like the one here on top, where I want to recognize what's in the image. Could be like an image of a sample, and this image, I want to count how many cells, for example, there are. There is a process that's called clusterization, that's isolating the different object in the image and allowing me to count this object. Like, for example, in this image here below, this is the same image shown with a gradation of color instead of black and white to be more clear. And what I can do, I can find a threshold, mask the image to separate the elements, and then isolate the different elements and count them. So this is what my program is doing. Let's say I have several images that I have to process this way, and I don't have enough resources on my laptop or desktop. So what I will be doing here is to use OSG resources to perform this task. So I'll be running through the tutorial. I will not see the chat, but you can, if you want, talk, or different moments I will check to see if there is any question on the chat. So the first thing is to go to OSG Connect and register there with an account. So this is a way to access OSG resources. And I'll be using it today so that when I install BOSCO on my laptop, then I can submit the jobs and have a resource where they run. So to register here, I log in. And I can register using my campus identity. So in my case, I use the common authentication. And I select campus, University of Chicago. And then supposedly, since it's the first time that I access the system, I create a new account. So normally it's better to use your institutional email. In my case, since I have it already recorded, I can use this email. Then I select a username and password. I accept the policies. And I register. Now I'm expecting to validate my email. So here I have email. And here is the link that I just received. I open it here. And it's completing the registration on Science Grid. I enter my additional information. and I submit the request to join OSG Connect. So once here, I check my groups. I'm in the base group OSG Connect. This allows me to see which groups are available, but doesn't allow me to use the resources yet. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be joining training group that's used just for the testing, and I'm sending a request to join the group. So if you're following up the tutorial and don't have already a OSG Connect account, you can do the same, do the registration, and ask to join the training group. Once you are joining and running your actual workflow, what you will do is to go here and ask to join an existing project, or create your own project. So if you have already other collaboration that have already projects on OSG Connect. So to have a list of the projects, you can check the subgroup of OSG Connect, or the PI or the manager of the project will invite you to the project. If you want to create a project, here it's a document with the steps and the procedure to do to ask the creation of a new project. So in this case, my membership request has been approved. So now I'm a member of the project. So there was a question. Okay. So now that I'm a member of the project, there are a couple of things that I can do. I can log in to the resource. This is a terminal emulator. I can use also regular SSH. And here I'm inside into the machine. And the machine, it's a regular Unix machine where I have Condor. Okay, the font is a little bit dark. Available, so I can see jobs running or queued or submit my jobs. Anyway, I will not use this web shell. I use a regular terminal so you can see better. Just logging out. So here in the notes about this tutorial, you can find the links on the document describing how to join a project, create a new project, and a little quick start if you're not familiar with Condor or Kit that will explain you the basics. And there is also a link to the Connect book. That's a collection of guides on what's possible on OSG Connect. Okay, the next thing, it's first, any more question? Oh, it's about changing color. Okay. The next thing will be to transfer my file. So let's say I have a folder here on my laptop with images. If I click, I have a set of images, and they are all different images with cells or whatever I want to account and process. I have several files, and I want to make them available to my jobs. So in order to transfer, what I will do, I'll be using Globus Online to transfer them to the resource where on OSG Connect. So OSG Connect has a data server that makes data available via web stash. So if I look here to a directory with my username, I can see a public directory. This is a directory that I can access also from my account. So what I'll be doing, I'll be transferring files to this directory. So in order to transfer file, I'll be first managing endpoints, adding Globus Connect. Actually, something I forgot. I had already Globus Connect running under a different account. So let's make the terminal a bit bigger so I can use it later. Okay. So let's go back here. When I want to transfer data from my laptop, what I do, I need to install a program that's called Globus Connect. So I will be downloading it. So once I download and install it on the application, we'll have to replace an existing one. I had already one, so I will do. And now go to the application and I'll start Globus Connect. When it's starting, it's asking to add a setup key. So I'll be doing here, generate. Close this endpoint my laptop. Generate a setup key. Copy the setup key. Now, Globus Online, the Globus Connect client is running. And what I can do, I can start the transfer. So there is an endpoint OSG Connect stash. This endpoint points to my directory on OSG Connect. And here I have my laptop. So what I will do actually, this was the directory. So here I have my folder with all the images. And what I want to do, I want to transfer it here, sorry, click here. And this will start the transfer. So in the meantime, I'll let the transfer move forward. And I will go to the next step to download and install BOSCO on my laptop. So BOSCO, it's a tool developed by OSG, available to the OSG community and other users, that allows to connect a server or your laptop to resources that you have access to. So to install BOSCO, I'll go to the website where I can download BOSCO. And we'll be downloading the latest version of BOSCO. There is, since I'm running on the Mac, I could run also a DMG package, but I'll be using this procedure so that it's the same that works for any supported platform, Mac or Red Hat Linux or Debian Linux. Clicking here is asking again for the registration. And then when I click Start Download, it will provide the URL to download the file. I can either download the file, or I can copy the URL, go to my terminal, actually, sorry, but this URL is downloaded to the output. Okay, so now I have the BOSCO Quick Start. I uncompress it, and now I have this shell script that I can execute, and will do will guide me in the installation of BOSCO. So going back to the web page, and to today's tutorial guide. Once I download BOSCO, I run the quick start, and what I do, I want to submit my job to OSG using OSG Connect. So I can view OSG Connect as a submit host with Condor Resource Manager that I can use to submit the jobs. So for BOSCO, I will be entering also the quick start. It's asking me to install BOSCO. I install it. It's downloading the correct version of BOSCO for my platform, and it's installing it. in the meantime, I can go back to the transfer, and I can view the transfer activity. So the transfer actually completed. So if I go back here, my images folder is available. So BOSCO is still installing. So this will download some file on my computer, create a BOSCO subdirectory of my home directory where BOSCO is installed, and some configuration file. So while I'm waiting for the installation, this could be a good time for a question. Any question? Okay. Let's see. Inconvenience of live demos. Let's see what it's doing. Install is running. Okay. Some problem downloading BOSCO. Let's try. In the meantime, I want to show a little bit about OSG Connect. So when I log in there using a terminal. So my account was Marco Test 2. The password that I selected on the portal is the same that I can use to log in. And here there is the data directory where you can see that there are all the images that I just copied. Okay. I don't know what was the glitch with the quick start. Anyway, I installed it. I forced the installation manually. Could be because I had some leftover file from before. And now I will resume the installation, adding the resource. So it's asking me for the submit host. So as I was going back here to the guide, I want to submit jobs to login osgconnect.net. The username is marcotest2. If your username is the same as in your laptop or server, that will be picked up by default. And the resource manager is Condor, HC Condor. So now it's asking me for the password. And okay. Probably I mistyped the password. Okay, so now what the installer will do, will connect this cluster to BOSCO, and this means that it's writing some setup file in my local machine, and on the remote one will add some file in the BOSCO subdirectory of my home directory. So if I go to this terminal that's connected to OSG Connect, not yet, but soon I will see a BOSCO directory here in my home directory. Let's see what will be the next step once this is done. So in OSG, there is a service called Oasis that allows to make available to the different sites directory with some common software that's distributed by the different organizations. And there is a program installed on Oasis that's called PALMS that helps with the setup of the software. What makes for the user easier is that it allows to select directly the software for your current platform. So I can test it. It's available also on the login node of OSG Connect. So if I use the command palms list, I can see the software that's installed and which version are installed. And if I do a palms to set up, I can set up a software and then use it. For example, Anaconda, that's here. It's a bundle that's including Python and Python 2.7 and several scientific libraries like NumPy, SciPy. And this will be the software that I'll be using for my tests. So if I run Python now, I have Python 2.7, and I can do import NumPy, for example, from and NumPy. And these are libraries that I will use for the test. So what I will be actually running, it's this Python program that's here in the guide, where I will import the image that I'll be downloading from the web and evaluate a threshold and segment the image and count how many cells there are in the image. So this will be the first file that I'm using. So if I go here, I can see that OSG Connect has been connected to my laptop, so I can now submit jobs to it. So the next step are to start BOSCO. Sorry. First, I have to source the environment for BOSCO. Now I can start BOSCO. And I can list the OSG clusters that are connected to it, and I can see here OSG Connect. So what I will do now here in this directory, I'll be creating the script that I need to run to count my images. So this is I'll call this script count cells. Now this script here is a Python script, and what I need to do before being able to run this script, I need to set up the environment like I did here on OSG Connect. So to set up an account with PALMS and so on. And also I need to download my image file. So my image file, it's available, if you remember, once we transfer the file, then I said it will be available on Stash. So if I refresh now, here in my directory on Stash, I can see a folder images, and here there are all the images. So what I will be doing, I'll be using a wrapper script here. That's just a simple shell script. And what this is doing, it's to download with wget the image file. So I'll be passing as a parameter to the script the number of files to download. And then it will set up the environment. And last but not least, run the Python script to do the analysis. So this, I call this a job wrapper. And I will be making both this script executable. Count cell and job wrapper. Now, in order to submit the jobs, I need the last piece. That's the Condor submit file. So if you are not familiar with Condor, just trust and copy the one here in the example. If you know Condor, what it's doing here is just setting up, sending a job where the executable is the job wrapper. It's transferring also the countcell.py script. It's not transferring the image because the image will be accessed via web and downloaded directly via web. It's more efficient for big file to be downloaded via web. Instead, the count cell is a very small script that can be easily transferred with each job. And then has this extra line here with requirements where I'm specifying that I want to run on nodes that provide Oasis. Oasis is this shared directory with where all the software is installed. And the second part is actually making sure that I'm not mounting a stale version of Oasis that is up to date. The last thing that I got to do in advance, it's in the tutorial I had a reminder. When you use OSG Connect and use OSG resources, you have to specify which project you are using. This is used for accounting, to know which activity you are doing, and it's very important to know what's running on OSG. So what I'll be doing here on my shell on OSG Connect, I'll be editing a file that's my default project, well, where I'll put the name of the project that I'm using. At the moment is the training project, Connect Train. And once I define my own project or join some project, that will be the name that I will put in this file. In order to see the projects that I'm a member of, I can use the command OSG Connect show projects. At the moment I'm a member only of Connect Train. So that's the one that I have to use. Let's double check that I didn't do. Yeah, that's correct. So if you type the name of an incorrect project or a project that you are not a member of, your job will fail. Same if you don't have any project specified. So now I'm ready. And actually also job.sub. So the submit file actually that I had here, it's a generic submit file, and it's something that I could use from sorry, I copied a couple of extra lines. This is a submit file that I would use on OSG Connect. On the BOSCO host, I specify as a grid, as universe, the universe grid. If you are familiar with Condor, this means that I'm not using local resources that I'm connected to directly from my laptop, where I install BOSCO, but I'm using remote resources, OSG Connect. If you're not, just I will correct the file in the example and just remember that universe here is great if you're running the example now. Okay, last thing, if you see here the log files for this job are in a subdirectory. I have to create that directory, otherwise the job submission will fail. Just so just to show you the error, it's telling me just cannot create the log file. So I'm making directory. And this will solve the problem. Now I can submit the job. So this job, as a last line in the job, had a command Q100. This means that it's actually queuing 100 jobs. And just a last look at the submit file. The submit file passes an argument to the executable, this macro process, that each job in Condor is identified by a cluster and a process. So in this case, I've been submitting 100 processes running within the same cluster. So each job will have a different number here, starting from 0 to 99. This way, each job will download a different image and process a different image. So if I do Ctrl Q now, I can see that all my jobs have been queued and idle, waiting to execute. In batch 1, there are the log file and the output and error file that are ready, but at the moment are empty. If I go to login 1, I can see that there are several jobs that are idle here and waiting to be executed. I forgot this. So for some reason, BOSCO was not sure of how many jobs I could submit there, and set up defensive parameters submitting only 10 jobs at a time. So in my case, I want this job to run more quickly. So I changed that parameter. So all these knobs and tweaks are actually documented in the BOSCO documentation that's linked from the download page, and I will add also another link within the tutorial. So the difference between Condor Q on my laptop and here on the OSG Connect host is if I run Condor Q here in general, I will see the jobs running with all the other users. If I run it on my laptop, I see only my jobs. So when I run Condor Q on OSG Connect, always remember to add your username. So here you can see that there are some jobs that are already running and completing and transferring back to my laptop. So any question? Oh. So there was the question from David, but I think I answered in the meantime. So if I go to Stash here, I can see the pictures that I uploaded. So each job will select one of these different pictures and return the counter. Okay, there's no job that completed yet. So if I use the command CtrlQ-grid on my laptop on BOSCO, it's telling me where the jobs are running. So in this case, I'm running all the jobs on OSG Connect, and it's telling me the grid job ID is a unique ID for the job. So jobs are running in the meantime and completing. And that concludes more or less the tutorial. Once they complete, in the batch1 directory, I will see that some of the output file have some content, and this content will be just the number that I've been outputting with the Python script. The Python script at the end is outputting the number of cell found within the file. I went already over the time allotted for this tutorial. So if there is any question, I can answer it now while I wait for them to run. I hope you were able to try and to submit some job. If not, you will find both the guide of the tutorial and the recording that will be uploaded soon in a video.